Level 1. The tip of the iceberg. What everyone knows. The break-in at the DNC, June 1972. On the night of June 17, 1972, 5 men broke into the Democratic National Committee headquarters at the Watergate complex in Washington, D.C. They were caught, arrested, and eventually linked to operatives connected to Nixon's re-election campaign, CREEP. The stated purpose? To plant listening devices, bug phones, and gather intelligence. The cover-up and tapes. Immediately following the break-in, the Nixon White House attempted to conceal links between the burglars and senior figures. Among the strongest evidence, Nixon had installed a secret taping system, capturing many White House conversations. In April 1974, under Supreme Court ruling, Nixon was forced to surrender tapes. On one tape, known as the smoking gun, Nixon was heard ordering the FBI to slow its investigation. Political fallout and resignation. By mid-1974, with enough evidence mounting, Nixon's political support collapsed. Rather than almost face certain impeachment, he resigned on August 9, 1974, becoming the first US president to leave office under threat of impeachment. His successor, Gerald Ford, later pardoned him for all offenses. Level 2. Just below the surface. Well-documented anomalies and contested points. The 18.5-minute gap. One of the most notorious mysteries? One of the recorded tapes had an 18.5 erasure during a conversation involving Nixon and his aide H.R. Haldeman. The White House insisted it was an accidental erasure by his secretary Rosemary Woods, but critics argue multiple deliberate segments were erased. Deep Throat, the secret source. Journalists Bob Woodward and Carl Bernstein relied on a clandestine informant they nicknamed Deep Throat. For decades, his identity was unknown, fueling speculation and myth. In 2005, collection of their internal memos and notebooks were made public. Finally, in 2005 to 2012 revelations, it was confirmed that W. Mark Felt, then a high-level FBI official, had acted as Deep Throat, though some still contest whether he was the only source. Operation Gemstone and escalated plans. Before Watergate, a more expensive clandestine plan named Operation Gemstone was proposed by G. Gordon Liddy. This included ideas of kidnapping, sabotage, and espionage, though many of the more audacious proposals were never implemented or were scaled back. This suggests that behind the initial break-in lay more ambitious skeletons in the planning rooms. Silent coup and alternate narratives. Some investigators and authors, example given in Silent Coup by Len Kolodny and Robert Gatlin, argue that Watergate was only a thin veil over broader threats to constitutional balance, that the presidency had grown too powerful. These accounts emphasize how institutional norms were bent or broken, not only by one scandal, but by power structures that enabled it. Level 3. Deeper currents. Hidden evidence and less settled leads. Who ordered the break-in? One of the core unsolved questions. Who gave the direct order? Was it Nixon himself? Or did a lower echelon act semi-autonomously? Often the consensus is, the break-in was devised by operatives. Hunt, Liddy, McCurt, with tacit approval or knowledge of senior figures, but no definitive proof ties Nixon to ordering it. Some theories posit that parts of the operation were out of control, or even that certain factions used the events to threaten Nixon, forcing him into cover-ups. The role of the CIA, intelligence agencies. Given the espionage nature, some theorists suggest CIA involvement or knowing suppression. While no smoking gun evidence has emerged, some documents remain classified or incomplete. Selective destruction, redactions, and missing documents. Even today, many records from the Watergate Special Prosecution Force remain unreleased or heavily redacted. Files related to IRS abuse, CIA misbehavior, and other dirty tricks are incompletely preserved. The composite deep throat theory. Some historians and skeptics argue that Deep Throat, as presented, may have been a narrative device combining multiple sources into one persona. Woodward and Bernstein deny it, but debates persist about whether Feld alone could have provided all information described. Level 4. Into the Abyss. Disturbing speculations and contested theories. Sex, blackmail, and sex espionage. Some claim the Watergate break-in may have had sexual blacklist dimension, that the investigation was probing into extramarital affairs, prostitution rings, or black books of political figures to control or leverage them. John Dean's testimony suggests that anxieties about scandals and hidden records may have motivated parts of the atmosphere. Trap theory. Democrats let it happen. One intriguing hypothesis: the break-in was poorly executed or deliberately allowed to fail, so that the Democratic side or law enforcement would trap the burglars and expose Nixon. In other words, that it was a setup disguised as a crime. Proponents point to coincidences: the immediate arrival of local vice squad, prior knowledge of traffic, or the unusual competence of police forces. Critics argue such theories overstate planning and underplay mismanagement. The haunting of executive privilege. Some believe that Nixon's invocation of executive privilege must have masked more than just legal strategy that was hidden under tapes, sealed memos, or White House directives included broader illegal activities, unauthorized surveillance, political targeting, or misuse of power beyond Watergate. The frustrating opacity in archival gaps keeps these speculations alive. Ghosts of other burglars and hidden operatives. Over the decades, conjecture has risen, linking Watergate to other anti-war, anti-intelligence, or CIA-linked clandestine operations. Some suggest that the burglars or their backers had deeper ties to paramilitary units or covert agencies that worked off the grid. While there's no conclusive proof, the notion that Watergate was only the tip of a hidden mobilization remains in conspiracy circles. Level 5. The ocean floor. Fringe theories, wild hypotheses, and symbolic meanings. Nixon as puppet of a deep state. At the far bottom lies the claim that Nixon was not the true power, that shadow networks, intelligence agencies, corporate, military, orchestrated events behind his facade. Watergate becomes a theater, not the real war. This theory draws on post-Watergate distrust of secrecy, but suffers from lack of verifiable leaks or whistleblowers with documented evidence. Complete fabrication, false flag. Some fringe voices propose that parts of Watergate were staged or exaggerated to bring down Nixon, using fabricated narratives, altered tapes, or false testimonies. These are rarely taken seriously by historians. Physical documents, multiple independent investigations, cross-testimony, and archival records make total fabrication highly implausible. Psychic, occult, or symbolic interpretations. In the most speculative corners, people read Watergate as a symbolic collapse of moral order, or even invoke occult numerology, cryptic synchronicities, or hidden timelines. These are not grounded in evidence, but exist in the conspiracy fringe. The uncautious coup of 1973 to 74. Some interpret Watergate not just as one scandal, but as the moment when US constitutional limits were quietly overstepped, creating new norms of executive secrecy, surveillance, and political warfare. The scandal is thus emblematic. The Iceberg's base is a shift in how power operates in secret. In that sense, the deepest claims is not that Nixon did X, but that the form of governance itself changed. If you want to know how deep the 9/11 iceberg is, click on the video on the left. Thanks for watching.